All right, sorry about that. I'm back. All right, so what we're doing here is just kind of popping back and forth. We had that prior resistance at 57.03, climbed above it, and now we're just popping between the imbalance at 57.03. Nice little green action here, holding everything. Looking at the options data, we've got both sides of the tape are very active, as they have been all week. Retest area would be roughly 800 on NASDAQ and roughly 56.93 on the S&P. So, right there. Apparently, we're having some technical difficulties there. I still don't. Y'all hear me on Discord or YouTube? Can y'all hear me? Good, good. Sweet, sweet. How does a dealer become neutral if there are many call options bought for the next few expirations and not today? Does he start buying the next day or the same day? Well, that I don't know. I do know when it comes to institutional hedging, everything is dynamic. So that's why algorithms and computers are used to their benefit, because their deltas are dynamically hedged at all times. And you can kind of pick that up. That's why when the tape gets one-sided, that's when things start getting crazy, because their deltas have to be dynamically hedged back to delta neutral as frequently as possible, and it causes big sweeps to the upside or big sweeps to the downside. Now, it's not possible for us to know what one single algorithm or hedge fund is doing, of course. We try to talk or look in the collective nature of the market, which is why we monitor Bookmap and Hero and all that other fun stuff. Crude oil just posted. Crude oil right now, large green up to 67 after bouncing off of 66. And 66, of course, got into the supports. We have a whole bunch of wicks between 65 and 66, and oil once again defended those positions. $57.06 there. Deltas can be hedged by futures stock. Options risk will be hedged through the trading similarly priced options. It happens naturally through the course of trading on instantly. There you go. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the difference between the two is the difference between a short squeeze or a gamma squeeze, if they're hedging with options or they're hedging with stock futures. Today's move for going up probably linked to that. That's why I'm trying to understand that. Maybe not. Well, look at the VIX. The VIX will tail the tail. This was a tailwind. They crushed the VIX to bring back down to spot, which is about 20. They're still holding the 20 handle, and the market launched today. That's why I say if you want to look for an outlier move, watch the VIX. The VIX right now has been in crush mode. It's been in crush mode since we tapped 29.70 back on the 10th, which is also where the market entered the range and stayed put. As long as they continue to crush the VIX like that, it is going to be a tailwind for the S&P simply because of the way of what VIX represents. The VIX is not a fear gauge. The VIX is representative of position hedging for the S&P between 27 and 33 days. And when they start crushing that positioning, that tells me, all right, well, they're removing the protection for that fear. It's going to cause a change in deltas, and it will cause a relentless tailwind for the market. Mojo putting on that 0.15 SPX Delta Iron Condor till noon. See how far we. Nice, Bailey. Still holding the support resistance flip at 5703. A lot of people here mention IBKR. I'm looking for something to integrate with TV. I see how options cover contracts have a flat 0.65 fee. Any other fees should have data. I mean, it depends. You know, the thing about IBKR is you could trade everything. You could trade global markets, Australian markets. You could trade anything you want, but you're going to have to pay for the data because of it. So if you want to trade just the S&P, you can get away with pretty much nothing as long as you have delayed data. If you want instant real-time streaming data, it'll be a fee. It's not that much. And then, of course, once you trade a certain amount, they do waive those fees. Depends how much you trade. Yeah, theta decay, what Mojo just said, you're not going to get too much theta roll off on a day like today because IV is now spiking. Will continue to at least hold into FOMC. Trump just started his call with Zelensky. It appears the tweet news has kind of died down in terms of reaction with the markets. The data fee's only a few bucks a month. They have cheaper options, fees on options futures. Yeah, it's fantastic. IBKR is fantastic. I was a big believer in E-Trade until I tried out IBKR. It's fantastic, mind-blowing. A little bit of red breaking back down. There we go. So the book right now has got everything down lower. They had a ladder down on NASDAQ on the upside, and it appears they're filling that now. ES has had very light liquidity, although they're kind of balanced between March and June, but June is leading the pack with liquidity, although light. Although light. So again, we're just kind of waiting for FOMC. There we go. Nice little down move. Nice little down move. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. If we get through the 814, we might have a little bit more of a drop, but that's your test. 814 NASDAQ. That's your test. Test your might. Heroes going negative? It is 1.3 billion in puts now, and they've sold the calls from 1.4 down to 647. So it appears the Hero is back to working like it should after the craziness the past 48 hours. Nice little red move here, still going. Beautiful. Here comes the 814 test. There we go. Still going down. Here comes the 814. We'll see what we can hold that baby. Still dropping down nicely. Puts are increasing. We have a nice little flow down. 59.60 after rejecting the imbalance perfectly. And yeah, see what we can do here. 814 there. First decent rejection play of the day is off the imbalance after a relentless green move this morning. But all the big stuff is this afternoon. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Can you get a link? Yeah, let me get it. There's the YouTube. Let me get the Discord as well. I'll refresh them. Still dropping. Beautiful. Beautiful. There we go. Nice move. Now we're through the imbalance. Or, I'm sorry, the retest. So after that, if it holds this, it'll be a full-on reversal once they hold that. You got to get through it. Gonna be huge. Love it. I placed my trades on IBKR's TWS app and UC for order execution. Looks archaic, but the fills are excellent. Yeah, it's grown on me big time. I hated it when I first got it, but it definitely grows on you for sure. Nice red still coming off here. We're so far about 100-point rejection. We're dealing with the 813 retest at the moment. Let's see what we can do here. Bottom it back up. Running one contract, 57.35.05. Yeah. So right there. What setup you go into FOMC? It depends if they hold this green. I love fading FOMCs. I love the countering the first initial move. And if they continue to go green with this, like if they do bottom with this back up, go back up to the highs, what I would expect is that Hero will post, or FOMC will post, they'll have a green move, and then I'm going to fade the crap out of it. Whether it be fade it to the afternoon or fade it until tomorrow's session, I think they'll reverse the whole freaking thing. But it all depends on kind of what they do with this green move between now and then and what they do at the 2 o'clock posting. So I don't expect all that much activity at the posting because we already know what they're going to do. They're going to pause. Most likely, because of that, it'll be initial green reaction, if I had to guess. What are the advantages of iron butterfly versus iron condor for clear? You pick one or the other. However, it looks the same. Anything between yeah, there you go. Yeah. The move up till now was cleaner today than the downside. It was much cleaner. Definitely. Microsoft, Meta, all downtrending here. Yeah, Meta's downtrending. They top wick off of the 588 pivot. Apple, of course, tapped their imbalance perfectly, and they rejected. A lot of directional moves there. The market has been pretty much has had an anchor around its neck with tech this whole week. Despite the direction of the rest of the market, the tech has been following suit. Nice little red ES still coming off. Blasting lower. ES's retest is 5692. You see we have very light liquidity on the book, but it is there down to 772. There's virtually nothing on June contracts now. Meta had such a great move into earnings once this sell-off is over. Do you have any thoughts on it? Based on my previous experience after this quarter, Meta's all downhill as earnings not that great. Well, I was skeptical of Meta's run-up anyway. That's why I shorted the crap out of it. You know, Meta's run-up was ridiculous. In my opinion, it had everything to do with the rotation in and out of maybe Tesla taking some profits. Nvidia had to pick a name, and Meta was it. Notice Nvidia hasn't been performing. Tesla's been getting crushed after their run-up. Apple was down. So Meta was the golden child there for a little bit, and it ran like crazy. And of course, they took profits on that, and it got crushed. That's just the way they've been working with tech. Big red coming off still, beautiful. Tesla's up almost 3%. Time to get another put. I mean, I'm not getting a lot of confidence from a bounce on Tesla, so you're probably not wrong. And their big support is way down in 150s, so. A little bit more red coming on the tape here. NASDAQ dropped back over, took out their pivot. Now it's free fall. 1.7 billion in puts, and they're selling all the calls. Things are rolling nicely. Negative deltas are increasing. Looks like a support test. Getting there. Yeah, now that they've taken out the pivot, I would put a decent probability on capturing at least the chop range from the evening. The stretch would be the day's lows of 705, but other than that, yeah, we're dropping nicely here. So beautiful rejection off of the imbalance. We recaptured and survived the pivot without a bottom wick. And now we're just sliding nicely here. So, the puts accelerated, the calls sold off. We rejected the imbalance to the tick on both ES and NASDAQ. So it was a correlated nice rejection on both of them. And now they've recaptured the pivot, and then, yeah, There's not really any liquidity to counter anything. It's just down we go. Holes below overnight high might be in business. Maybe. Maybe. 56.95 ES still dropping. Downside target on SPX. SPX right now, about 56.25. Right here. If you have a moment, can you check AMD? Yeah, let's go take a look. AMD. It's in the game. You want it on the 4-hour chart and the daily. Let's do it. So the daily AMD. Oh, it's a 4-hour AMD. Massive bottom wick. We have massive bottom wick on Tuesday, massive bottom wick this morning. Let's see. After today's recovery, the daily chart looks like accumulation. Their support resistance flip is 106.40. So that's your target there, 106.40. But it does look like accumulation. We have some nice volume inflow. We have some nice bottom wicks. We have a prolonged period of rejection and getting smoked. If they can get 106.40, I think you could play a nice call up to 125. That'd be a nice target. All right. Very light liquidity on the book, of course. And we are just back and forth, baby. Still looking for downside. Yeah, beautiful top wick on the 1-hour charts. All over the place. Increased volume, top wick again. So still, the downside is still intact. There's no danger of a bounce yet. We have no volume. We have no bottom wick. And we've already reclaimed the flip. So the downtrend is still intact here. We haven't retaken, I should say, a higher high. And that's technical downtrend. If you haven't taken out a higher high, there's no fear of a rejection yet. Or a bounce, I should say, in this case. $56.93 dropping still. Downtrend still intact. Still go. Still go. What's up, YouTube? You still following this stuff? It's beautiful. Beautiful. Question on cuts. Did market start to anticipate 2 to 3 cuts since Papa Powell is not going to do cuts as tank a sign? Well, the market the past 6 months has flip-flopped between no cuts to now 3 cuts in 2025, and sometimes at one point we were discussing the possibility of a hike, although did never even price it in. So, in my opinion, the market is not necessarily reacting to the whims of Papa Powell here. The market is simply overcooked. The market has been rallying for 4 years straight to the degree of which we've never seen before. No one's ever seen before. And this is what we're dealing with. And this is only a very minor pullback from a very overextended market. And we saw the signs. So in my opinion, none of this has anything to do with Trump. None of this has anything to do with Powell. It has everything to do with the fact that we have now had a 4-year overcooked market that began to distribute it in June of 2024 that is now reaping what we sowed with that. And it's just a very minor pullback. 10%? Very minor compared to what we had up here. And my counter to this always is, if you want to get the historical bull market that we've been experiencing the past 4 years, you have to be able to withstand the historical selling that we come along with it. You can't have that kind of green without some red. It's impossible. If you want bigger, more volatile green, you're going to have bigger, more volatile red. That's what this is. I think the price action will continue, though I will close short and increase. I'm pretty confident in my price action, so it's Willenberg. All right. There you go. Dangerous, advanced and dangerous. Definitely they are. Definitely they are. Will I be on YouTube during FOMC? I will. Yeah. I will. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time. Is OM muted right now? I was muted right now, but I'm back on. Yep. Just back and forth. That nice little bounce. So, but yeah, the bulk of our positioning in analytics will be this afternoon for FOMC. X's evaluation is back to 44 billion. Nice. Interesting. TSMC is seeking to expand to the United States. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. Interesting. Is that old news? You're welcome, Techno Pig. We don't need to take Taiwan if we take all their business. Yeah, tell me about it. They're building fab plants in Arizona. Nice. Currently building a facility outside of Phoenix. Beautiful. There you go. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Just joined the streams. Any trades? Yeah, I took a trade this morning, but nothing currently. Watch the documentary Princess of the Yen on YouTube. It's about how the artificially inflated Japanese markets in the 80s have crashed afterwards, just with the global implemented new economic system. Yeah, it sounds similar, doesn't it? Nice, Mojo. Beautiful. If I'm able to learn from you, I'll become the superhero that strength all of you. Yeah. Well, just take it slow by slow. Little by little. Ohm's a much better trader than I am. I wouldn't say that. Everyone's got their strengths. Everyone's got their strengths. There's people in here that I think are better traders than me. It's just what is your strength? Some people are better scalpers, some people are better swings, some people are better with shelling options. So I don't say better than any of you. It's just I have my strengths, you have your strengths. But I'm a firm believer of who you are as a person. Your personality will determine the outcome of you as a trader. Because it doesn't take a lot of intelligence to be a successful trader. I mean, I've had people in here with degrees and way more successful careers than I've had in terms of outside of trading. And they can't put together 2 green trades in a row. It's because they're too emotional. They're either too egotistical, they're too emotional, they're too angry. So it's really just a mechanism on who you are as a person, and can you put aside your ego and your need to be right to start to see what could come. 100% option sellers is just not my favorite option selling market, so back to scalping, which is not my specialty, but it's getting better. There you go. I think the biggest issue with smart people is the notion that this market has to be this way. The market does not have anything to do with it. Well, we smack people 20 points up, down, face through 1, 2. I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. I think ego goes into play here because it burns them a little bit. People who have high egos are very intelligent. They don't like being told no, and the market tells you no all the time. It can be very simple to trade successfully, and it can be as complicated as you make it. But really, it's all about managing your need to trade, your patience. Can I wait for my target? Can I wait for my limit? It's not that difficult to just wait. It's just get wrapped up in trying to chase every move. Some of those people are bad at dating. Yeah, yeah. When you're red, the waiting is hard. Yeah, but one of the emotional management part of things is to cut losses. The stress that you feel when you're holding a red trade, especially when it's an option. Like yesterday, for example, I had a red day yesterday, and but I finally realized, hey, why are you being an idiot? Just close the position, and you close it out, and you immediately feel better when you close it out. So when you're dealing with mechanics of options, which are Greek related, theta, vega, IV, all that kind of fun stuff. When the theta is eating away at your positions and your break-even point gets further and further and further away, just close the trade out. Both from a financial and an emotional management standpoint, if you learn to just close the losing trade and move on, you'll do much better. You'll save yourself money because especially if you're trading zeros, you get in the habit of you put on a trade, it immediately goes against you, you're down 40%, and you're like, screw it, I'm just going to hold it. And then all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch of 100% losses on your trading log. And it's just a bad trap to get into. I'm 40, and what I learned that is that all people are smart if they put forth effort, and don't think anyone's smarter than you. All got their struggles. Most important lesson, if anyone can take it, is best to find the best qualities and adopt them. I'm the average person, 100%. So, especially one thing I've learned is that if you're dealing with anything in business, go look at any business, any government agency, any sports team, anything ever. The problems that arise in business have 100% everything to do with managing the feelings and emotions of people. Even big, tough Navy SEAL teams, you're managing the feelings and emotions of people. All the problems come with you did this and you made this person feel this way. You can't say that because that's not unprofessional and you may hurt someone's feelings. Everything. And that's no different in trading the market. The things you say to yourself and think during a position will affect how the outcome of the trade goes. And can you put that aside and be like, all right, well, yes, I am long biased here, but the market is cratering. So why not I readjust my bias and zoom out to the daily 4-hour and see what's going on here? Let me stop out of my trade and reanalyze. It's all about managing people, and that includes managing yourself. Nice little red rejection off of the prior pivot. The Port of Hormuz is closed? Yeah, possibly. That's what it's always about, man. Everything about the whole Middle East, it's all about power and land. Power and land. And that includes the gulfs that are transients for the oil supply. Always set stop losses. Riding on the hope that it'll come back is too dangerous. There you go. 100% Mark, I agree. Maybe it's good to put a stop loss as soon as you enter the trade so you're not full of hopium. I definitely agree with that, yeah. You know why hindsight is 2020 is because you look back and you think, oh, that's the obvious support and rejection there. So if you can, and usually it's at some major macro pivot, a major bounce, a major rejection. So just wait until you see the major macro pivot and play there. It's good stuff. What's a good stop loss for options so you can let trade breeze? But well, it depends. If you're trading zeros, which I recommend most of you don't, I mean you've got to let it breathe. If you set like a 20% stop loss on 0DT options, you're going to get stopped out every single trade. It's very difficult. That's just why I recommend you stay away. So longer time frame charts, it depends on the expiration. It depends on the amount of capital you're putting on the tape. Usually my stops are between 20 to 30% on options. I'm willing to risk 20 to 30% of 1%, which is my usual trade, on that stuff. Now, swing trades, usually my position size are a little bit bigger, anywhere between 3 to 5% of my account, depending on confidence, of course. But I always try to figure out, if I'm placing on a trade, where's my stop going to be based on the price action? Support, resistance, where's the thesis going to break down, etc. When you say 20 to 30% stop loss, do you mean 20% of the total amount of the trade, or the total amount of your account? No. No, 20% of the trade. Yeah, I never would risk 30% of my entire account on one trade. Yeah, 30% of the risk on the trade, which is anywhere from a long-term swing trade. Usually I'm risking between 3 to 5% of my account. Usually. On a scalp, rarely does it approach beyond 1% of my account on a scalp trade. Now, if we're talking stocks, I'll sling a lot higher quantities. I've been known to sling much higher quantities in stocks, 20 to 30, 40% of my account I've taken on a stock trade before, but that's a while ago with far less dollar amounts, which I don't do anymore. Stocks you're risking a lot less in terms of movement. I thought a parachute manufacturing company would be a safe bet, but it just keeps on dropping. I love it. I love it. All right, John. We're just back and forth since the morning pop. Reclaim the highs, so shorts are got negated, and now we're just chilling. So, yeah. Liquidity on Bookmap is very, very light. Almost non-existent. But I do expect that to change going into the afternoon. Happy Gilmore 2 trailer came out. Oh, really? I have to go take a look. That's one of my favorite movies as a kid. But I'm sure, I hope it doesn't suck. Alrighty. Watching from YouTube. What's up? What's up? Can't be worse than Joe Dirt 2. They made a Joe Dirt too? Interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Catching up on work during the lull. There you go. Nice. Google divergence looking good. Right here. Let's see what we're going to do here. Let's see what we're going to do. But my theory's still in place. I like playing the fade play. Fade play works really well. For FOMC. Anyway, we're past the time here. Very slow session. Again, Wednesdays, midday is usually pretty slow. So we're going to come back on here in a couple of hours for FOMC. So be there. I'll post the links in the Discord, and you'll see it come live on YouTube if you're a member of the YouTube. If you're not, hit subscribe. Good stuff. Other than that, I'll see you here in a few hours. My opinion, save your trades, save your mental capacity for this afternoon. I'm out. See you.